If you have mild cognitive impairment, you know how frustrating and maddening and embarrassing your memory problems can be. So imagine how HM must have felt. He couldn't remember anything. HM was the most famous amnesia patient known to science. He underwent a brain operation in 1953 that inadvertently wiped out his ability to form new memories. Anything that happened before the operation, he could still remember. But if it happened after that, it was a complete blank. Until he stunned scientists by discovering a way to compensate for that and regain the ability to retain some new information and memories. And the technique he used is still being taught today to help people with MCI do better with short-term memory. So take heart. If it worked for HM, it can work for you. Hi, I'm Tony Deering of GoCogno.com, the website for people with mild cognitive impairment. This is the second of 3 videos showing you a whole new set of ways to deal with some of the most common memory problems faced by people with MCI. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about how you can use the same technique that HM used to lock new information into his brain by tying it to an older, hardened memory. And we're going to take that tactic and apply it to situations where you just can't remember someone's name. It's called memory compensation. It's a set of new skills that you can practice and master. And as you do, you'll find that you can start remembering things again, and that can make your life so much easier. These memory compensation techniques were pioneered by the people at Baycrest in Toronto. Think of these techniques as eyeglasses for your brain. Glasses don't fix your eyes, but when you put them on, you can see better again. This is the same idea, but for your brain, taking fuzzy memories and making them sharper again. But for now, let's talk about forgetting names. It could be a neighbor, or the butcher, or the kid who mows your lawn. When there's someone who you come in regular contact with and you feel you should be able to remember their name, but you just can't, that's embarrassing. But it's not you. It's what's going on in your brain. Cognitive impairment is attacking regions of the brain, such as the hippocampus, that we rely on for short-term memory. But here is something really important to understand. Other areas of the brain are less affected, including areas where long-term memories are stored. Most people with MCI still retain pretty good long-term memory, and you can tap that to compensate for the loss of short-term memory. That's exactly what HM did. He loved to do crossword puzzles, a hobby he took up as a teenager. And as long as the clue involves something that he knew prior to 1953, he could come up with the answer. But if it involved something after that, he was, in a word, clueless. So the scientists studying him were amazed when he developed the ability to retain new information that he shouldn't have been able to. So for instance, the puzzle asked for the name of the inventor of the polio vaccine, and HM was able to answer Jonas Salk. But he shouldn't have been able to do that because the polio vaccine was discovered after his surgery. But even though HM couldn't remember Salk or the vaccine, he could remember polio. During his childhood, there was a devastating polio outbreak in his hometown of Hartford, and he still remembered that very well. So since he could remember polio, he could associate Salk and the vaccine to his memory of polio, and then he could retain that information. That's the idea, and it can be used by anyone, including someone with MCI who's struggling to remember a name. And one way to add meaning to a name is to anchor it to someone you've known for a long time who has the same name. When we moved into the house where we live now, I could not, for the life of me, remember the name of the woman who lived across the street. But she had the same first name as a woman who I had dated for a very long period. And I used that as my anchor. I stood in my living room and I looked out across the street at her front porch, and I pictured my neighbor, Elaine, standing on her porch, and also standing on the porch talking to her was Elaine, the woman who I had dated for a very long time. And they were meeting and they were shaking hands. And then I imagined myself taking a picture of them on the porch together while they were smiling and waving at me. This taking a picture tool is also a good way to enhance short-term memory. And with that simple exercise, I planted the name firmly in my mind, tied to an old memory. And now, anytime I see her, it's just, hey, Elaine, how you doing? I've got that name locked in. So this technique can work for anybody, whether it's someone like me who's quite forgetful, but within the normal range of age-related memory loss, or whether it's someone with MCI or someone with complete amnesia. But it does take practice. That's true of this technique and the others you're learning in this memory compensation series. If you practice them, you'll get better at them. The other thing that Baycrest encourages you to do is take this technique and make it your own. Put your own personal twist on it. For me, it was using the name of an old girlfriend. And do me a favor and don't mention this to my wife. For you, it can be anything, as long as it's a hardened memory that you can anchor the new memory to. So now you've learned 2 new memory techniques. In the first video, we learned how to stop continually losing or misplacing things like your car keys, or your wallet, or your phone, or reading glasses. Next, in the final video, we'll address not being able to remember to do something you need to do in the future. These techniques are all part of a larger memory compensation system developed at Baycrest. The whole Baycrest approach to memory compensation is available in this book they published called Living with Mild Cognitive Impairment. The final chapter of the book, chapter 15, walks you through everything you need to improve your daily memory skills and your ability to solve memory problems. And I'm including a link below where you can get this book. To be clear, I receive no commission or other financial compensation for recommending this book. The reason that I recommend it is because I believe in it and because I have seen how well it works for people with MCI. I invite you to check it out if you're interested, and I hope at the very least you try the technique that I've shown you today. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video, which you can watch by clicking right up here. Until then, as always, be kind to your mind.